Now then guys, hope everyone's well and happy. Today I'm just doing a video on medical cannabis for beginners really. Stuff that I wish I knew before starting, maybe can help other people. So yeah, most people they start medical cannabis completely wrong. And that's why they either quit early, have bad experiences, So if you're new to medical cannabis, this video hopefully it could save you a bit of time, with trial and error as well. Yeah, it's not about getting high, medical cannabis, and it's not just a hype. This is a beginner-friendly, honest guide to medical cannabis, really. What it helps with, what it doesn't, and what I wish I knew before starting. Now, medical cannabis, it can be helpful for a lot of conditions, but it's important to be realistic as well. It's commonly used for chronic pain, sleep problems, inflammation, appetite issues, and some forms of anxiety as well. But that being said, cannabis, it's not a miracle cure. Think of it as a tool, not magic, just as a tool. When it works well, it can improve your quality of life. When it's used incorrectly, it can cause frustration or side effects even. This part, it's important, it's often skipped. Medical cannabis, it's not for everyone. If you have a history of panic attacks, psychosis, certain heart conditions, THC, it might even make symptoms worse. So if you're taking medications like antidepressants or other sedatives, cannabis, it can interact with them. It don't mean that you can never use medical cannabis, but it does mean you've got to go slowly and also be informed. One of the biggest beginner mistakes, it's not understanding the difference between CBD and THC. CBD, it's non-intoxicating. It's commonly associated with like calming effects, inflammation reduction, and also anxiety support. Now THC, that's the compound that causes the high sort of thing. It can help with pain, sleep, appetite, muscle tension, but too much can cause a bit more anxiety or even paranoia. Now here's a key point to me, what most people miss. More THC does not mean better results. For a lot of medical users, lower doses work better than high doses. So this is where most of the bad experience come from, is dosing in my eyes. The golden rule I think with medical cannabis is, especially to start with, start low, go slow, find your way. If you increase it too quickly, especially with THC, it might even make you feel more anxious if that's what you're on there for. It can make you dizzy, uncomfortable. So it's best just to start slow, see where you're at, test yourself that way. And different forms it differently as well, if the inhalation, it works quickly but wears off faster, from inhaling it. Oils, they take a bit longer, but they last longer. And then also edibles are quite delayed and they can be much stronger than what people expect. If cannabis ever made you anxious, it probably wasn't the dose. It was probably the dose. It probably was the dose, not the cannabis itself. So also side effects, common ones, dry mouth, fatigue, brain fog, sometimes even temporary anxiety itself. So another thing beginners don't really expect is tolerance. Using high doses regular, it can make cannabis feel less effective over time. So yeah, this is why it's consistency and moderation matter more than chasing stronger products. So here's what I personally wish I knew at the beginning. Like, strains matter less than dose in my eyes. Everyone's different, this is just what I think. Timing matters. Whether you're doing it in the day use, it can be different from night use. It's like me, I keep a little book, where I write things down. It helps me understand what works. So for example, if I had a certain strain, I'd write down when I had it, like time of the day, whether it was morning, day, night, how it affected me, how I felt, did it help me sleep, did it, how did it make me feel, and also how much, because then I can reduce things or even something good just to look back on, whether I'll go back to that again, that strain, that worked for me, that did, or no, stay away from that one, and is there sort of a relation to other ones, sort of thing, you know. So yeah, consistency beats trying to get dramatic effects, you know. So keep looking back, you know. And for some people, not everyone, but medical cannabis sometimes works best when it's boring, you know, steady and intentional. Not everyone, you know, but like I say, it's best starting low and slow. Now, yeah, that's about it really. I'm sure I haven't covered everything in that, but it's just open there. So if anyone wants to leave any comments or ask any questions, especially if you're just starting the journey of medical cannabis, so just write some comments down or questions. I'll answer as much as I can. But yeah, you know, everything I post, it's just try and help people really. If you think about going on to it, I'm sure some people will disagree, some people will agree. But yeah, I just thought I'd put that out there for the beginners. Like I say, any questions, pop them in the comment section and I'll get back to you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. So yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Take care. See you on the next one.